Hi Stampin' friends, happy World Card Making Day. I have a video for you today using some paper that will be available, designer series paper that will be available in November. I chose to use this paper because it's kind of perfect for just a friend card or any time of year, but it is nice for Christmas. There's some of the paper has some pine boughs and things like that, but this one is just roses. So I'll show you the finished card first. This is the attempt that I have made on the cards that Sarah makes for the $1 Million winners with Stampin' Up. I've seen several of those online, so I wanted to try my own version of that. So this one uses the ornate frames, which comes with the Halloween set, but this is also the Christmastime is Here paper, designer series paper. And the ribbons, the gold ribbon is also with the Christmastime is Here. This is the reversible with Pretty Peacock on one side and Old Olive on the other. And I think the Old Olive ribbon looks fine with this, even though this is Mellow Moss. I like the way it looks because the ribbons are kind of the same amount of shine. These are the gold embossed, listen to me, gold glitter enamel dots that are also with this pretty paper. And I wanted to show you, you'll need to be really careful when you pull them off. Don't just pull straight up. You want to slide because it's easy to get them stuck to this paper. You don't want to separate them. So that's something you want to really be careful with when you use these. So the way this card is made is it's constructed, and then I cut the edge and then cut the edge of the cardstock to match it. So then when you open it up, it is a pocket card, and I put a card inside for me to write on. So they could replace this. They could make this a gift card holder, putting the gift card in long ways. It would peek out the top. Or they could make their own insert inside and make it someone's happy birthday card or something like that. So what I did on this, this is actually for one of my downline who has just achieved $100,000 in career sales for all time. So she got a really nice reward from Stampin' Up for that. So I wanted to make her something to kind of make a keepsake with. So I wrote the Stamping Your Way to the Top. This is a set that comes specifically for demonstrators to use. We can buy it, or I got it at Center Stage in Orlando last November. So I used also another piece of the paper, that's the designer series paper, that is in the Christmastime is Here, to make another ornate frame, just to kind of focus on some different colors. And then the garden green, I think it is, linen thread here makes a nice little accent. So I'm going to show you how I put this together. Not necessarily all the stamping because that could get a little tedious. Okay, so the first thing that I did was get things together, and I cut lengths of the ribbon, and I like to use my grid paper to kind of keep track of what I'm doing. So it's 2 lengths of grid paper, which means that it is about, they're about 18 inches, 16 inches. This is about a 32-inch long piece of ribbons. Then the cardstock itself is cut to 5.5, this way, by 11. So I didn't cut it at all this way. Then I scored it at 3 7 1/4, and you can do it a couple different ways. When you go to add your paper, you can scoot this here and imagine where it would be, tape it down at this end, and then score it at the same places. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I would tape it here and then score at 3 again, and at 7 1/4 again. Or you could just put this in the corner, and because it's going to be an 1/8 inch out from the edge, you would score at 2 7/8, and you would score at 7 1/8 instead. So you'd score different places based on where you're trying to get the designer series paper to lie on your cardstock. So you could also tape it, and then just when you fold the cardstock, assume that you're going to have a good rounded, a good nice lay of this without even scoring these, because that's another way that you can do it. So now normally this would have, this is 12 inches long, so this would be stuck down here. So before I did this card, I kind of imagined where I would want to cut and I could get all the way across the 5 1/4 inches without hitting something. So you'll notice on this other card, it kind of looks a little strange here where I had to cut up and around a rose, but happily there's a rose underneath, so that kind of looks cute to me in a way. So I didn't worry about it. But this one worked out kind of even better. So what I'll do is trim this really neat around here, and then I'll just trim by hand this edge along here, and trim probably out about 1/8 of an inch to make everything even up. So I'll just go ahead and kind of haphazardly do this for you and show you how I put this together. It'll be fairly quick and simple and not very neat, just so I can show you the general how-to. So I'll want to get this centered as best I can and make sure that it's straight going down the page as best I can. Then I like to put a little extra when it is at a fold. So then I fold it and then make sure that these meet nicely in the corners here. You don't want a whole big overlap of your patterned paper over your cardstock. So then here again, where it does another fold, I'm gonna do a little more. Then I'll want to fold it up with this. I've already scored it, so it should be easier than it looks like the time I'm having. There we are. So then I will trim this around here. So let me just do like a real quick haphazard trim so you can get the general idea. So imagine that I've done a beautiful job there. So then the next thing I'll do is I'll put tear tape on these sides to make my pocket card, which is simple to do, of course. And then I'll slide this up here, and I'll be all set with that. And then the card is simply, whoops, it goes the other way. Tear tape's gonna go on the other side, guys. I think I'll be able to get that off. Then what holds the card together is just going to be this loop of ribbon that I have. Just looped around simply. And then I just take it and tie it like I'm tying a bow on a package. I don't do anything especially fancy with this. I just want to get it tied. So I do this. And then all I'm doing is trying to keep the gold on top, because I think it's the one that has a little bit of trouble showing more so than the green. I think you notice the green really well. And then you just kind of want to straighten it up after that and get it pulled. I like to have quite a bit showing, and then I'll even up my ends whenever I'm finished with that, just to make it look neater. And then what I did was put some tear tape down here on the bottom of the card. And then this one's gonna be a thank you card. So then I just put the tear tape here, like say right here. And then we'll just pretend that's what's sticking there. Oh, that's not gonna stick to that. Interesting. Okay, and then I'll put the thank you or the thanks right here, again with the ornate dies, and that would be the front of the card. Then for the inside, I have made this cardstock 7 inches long by 3.5, and I've scored it 3.5. So the reason is because it would be too small if it was just a regular 3x3 card that we're used to. Then on the front of this card, I wanted to put a with gratitude stamp, which I got from the Itty Bitty Greetings set. And then again from the Ornate Frames, I used this background, and again with this pretty green. I wanted to show you also a possibility for this. I think that looks really nice. You imagine it being on a solid, that even looks good in the Ornate Frames to me. Or an even smaller sentiment, like where you see the rose and then there's just like a small thank you right there. That would be gorgeous. So anyway, I will mount this on this. I guess you can watch that. So it's pretty simple. Not gonna take me all day where you're just bored no end. And then a little on this, on my green. And then I'm just gonna put this here, and then like I did on my other one, I will put some little gold glitter dots all around just to add a little more interest. And let me go ahead and pop these up on dimensional so that you can see that a little better. And so there's that. So that's popped up on dimensionals, and then I will just go in and add a few of these gold glitter dots around in places where I think that they'll be easy to see. Maybe kind of a larger one up here. I got a smaller one here. And then I could stop there, but if I really want to bling it up, I'll add a few more. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed seeing this card and that you'll try one for yourself. I will post the places to score and the dimensions of the card on YouTube, so you'll be able to see that on there. And anyway, thanks for watching and happy World Card Making Day, October the 5th this year.